Over the last couple of weeks, I've been looking at air fryers for small families. And in this video, I'm adding the Philips 2000 to that collection. This is an air fryer from one of the best known air fryer brands. It has a touchscreen, windows in the drawers, and it promises 13 cooking functions. In this video, I'll tell you everything you need to know about it. So before we start, a very quick favour to ask of you. If you are new to this channel, you could help make a massive difference to me by hitting the subscribe button and giving this video a thumbs up. So this air fryer has caused a lot of trouble over the last couple of weeks. Nothing to do with the air fryer itself, all to do with how I used it. This is the infamous air fryer that I took to school sports day a couple of weeks ago and successfully used outside with a power bank to cook pastries, and then ended up getting nearly 1 million views and a lot of very strange comments on my TikTok video. If you want to know the story about that, there is a whole other video about it which I'll link below. Now, the reason this air fryer got picked for that rather prestigious job is because it is 1800 watts. So it wasn't too demanding on the 2000 watt power bank, which I borrowed. And also, being 6.2 litres, it hit that sweet spot for a decent sized capacity, but also being quite portable. If you are looking at the moment at buying an air fryer, do not get too hung up on that wattage figure, which is usually quoted as one of the first things they give you about an air fryer. Bigger isn't always better, and in the case of this model, 1800 watts is really all you need. When I monitored it with an energy meter at home, it drew that maximum capacity wattage for all of about 2 minutes, and then it dropped right off with its energy consumption, because it was reaching temperature in the drawer very quickly and efficiently, and it doesn't need a more impressive sounding number to do that. So the one thing you may know about Philips when it comes to air fryers is that they lay claim to being the company that introduced the world to air fryers with their rapid air technology, which they developed with a Dutch inventor. You can see evidence of that patented technology in the starfish design, which you'll see on their air fryer logo and on the bottom of all their air fryer drawers. The swirling raised pattern is supposed to encourage air circulation and cook food faster, but it also has the downside of making it harder to cook directly in the drawer. Now, I appreciate that not everyone wants to do that, but Philips are specifically marketing this 2000 series air fryer as having 13 functions, which they say includes stir fry and saute. And the truth is that these air fryers with that raised pattern on the bottom of the drawer simply aren't as suitable for that kind of cooking as models with flat bottoms. Aside from the saute and stir fry functions, on the control panel there are 8 different presets, which are for frozen fries, homemade fries, drumsticks, meat chops, an oddly specific function which is called breakfast, which is for cooking 3 eggs and 2 pieces of toast, muffins, fish fillets, and finally vegetables. As far as I can ascertain, there is no variation in fan speed between these presets, so they are purely pre-programmed times and temperatures. The maximum temperature on this model is 200 Celsius and the minimum is 60 Celsius, which is right at the top end of the range for dehydrating, making this model, for a second time, less than ideal for one of the 13 cooking functions that Philips say it has. If you're concerned about non-stick coatings, there's no details of the coating used for the surface of the drawer or for the crisper plate. However, Philips do say that both are dishwasher safe. This being a Philips air fryer, it doesn't come with a full paper handbook, just a QR code on a leaflet, but at least the QR code actually works, which it didn't on another one of their air fryers, which I tested a few months ago. Now, when it comes to the digital handbook thing, I'm still on the fence about it. Philips do seem to be putting efforts into being more sustainable with their appliances. They package their air fryers with cardboard rather than polystyrene, and ultimately digital manuals do save on waste. But here's the problem. QR codes are overwhelmingly more likely to be used by younger consumers than older ones. And so that lack of a printed manual does rather lock out some of their customers from having a full understanding of how the appliance works. But on a positive note, this air fryer is really quiet. Philips might not have paid out for the privilege of having that Quiet Mark certification, which you'll see on some appliances. But the decibel meter does not lie. It peaks at about 57 dB in my home test. And if you're somebody who really hates the beeping that you get on things like Ninja air fryers, well, this air fryer chirps rather than beeping at the end of its cooking cycle. If you like windows in drawers, this model does have them, although the smaller 4.3 litre version doesn't. It also has a light in the drawer which comes on automatically and then times out after about a minute. Are windows useful? Well, I personally like having them. I think they look kind of cool, particularly when they're lit up and you can see the food cooking. But I also appreciate they aren't hugely practical. They do get dirty and therefore need cleaning. And I have to say, I always seem to revert back to actually pulling the drawer out to check on the contents rather than lowering myself down and peering through the glass. So if I've sounded a little bit negative on this review, please do not be deterred. There is no big deal breaker with this air fryer. It's still a great model and I've seen it on sale at some amazing prices. But just be aware of its limitations, depending on how you think you're going to use it. If you want to saute and stir fry with your air fryer, I maintain that you'll be far better off buying a multi-cooker. I've done a video all about that, which is popping up on the screen right now. And if the temperature range on this air fryer is what's concerning you, then check out my review of the Ninja Pro 6.2 litres, which is exactly the same size as this, but it goes down to 40 Celsius for proper dehydrating.